Welcome to Neeve, a smarter foundation for spaces. Today I will be showing Neeve's Secure Edge, digital infrastructure that secures your building technology and improves building operations, sustainability, and innovation. With Secure Edge, you can implement a zero-trust architecture, improving the security posture of your building and OT networks. The first step in implementing zero trust is locking down your systems with strong perimeter security and no open ports. Next, don't allow anything to connect to your networks or systems unless it is a known and trusted user or device. Finally, you implement a least privilege access model. So devices and users only have access to exactly the devices and applications they need to use and nothing more. So let me show you how to do all of this with Secure Edge. It starts by installing our Secure Edge appliance, or what we call a node. You plug your internet into one side and your building network or LAN to the other. Once it is connected, there are just a few simple steps to secure your buildings and networks. Once your device is plugged in and powered on, you need to onboard the device into the system. Log in to our cloud-based portal, go to the Node section of the application, and click Add. Fill in the name and basic fields to configure the device's connection to the internet, and your device is online. Next, you need to set up your building network or LAN. You can see all your devices on the node list. Clicking one gets you details on its current performance and configuration. Here is where you would configure the LAN connections. Click Add to add a new network, but in this case, I'll show you one that is already there. In the network configuration, there is a name field and basic networking details. Also, there is a section for security. By default, Neeve puts in place a strict security policy to reduce the building network's attack surface. There is also a section for remote networks. This is where you would configure any secure connections to the cloud. Our connections are all bookended with certificates, meaning there is a verified connection at each end, which prevents a man-in-the-middle attack. With your networks connected, you are done with the first pillar of a zero-trust approach. Your networks are locked down and your connections are encrypted. Let's move on to finding all the devices in our building with the Device Discovery feature. Neeve's Device Discovery scans a network and creates a catalog of all the digital assets. We'll quickly set one up. Click Create Scan to start the process. Pick the network and then the type and depth of the scan. Next, choose to run it once or run regularly to monitor changes and then confirm to start the scan. When the scan is complete, you can access a report of the results. You can view a sample of the data such as MAC addresses, IPs, and ports, or you can download it as a file. From here, we can enable secure remote access to any of these devices. On our cloud-based remote access portal, you will see an alert regarding the newly discovered devices. In the list of devices, you can select the ones you want to enable for remote access. Give the device a name and set a name for a unique URL. For each device, you set up remote connections to specific ports, giving you granular control of who can access what. Finally, you pick what group of users you want to grant access. Don't worry, soon we'll show you how to manage those users and groups. Once remote access is enabled for a device, any authorized user can connect to it with a web browser, whether it is a remote desktop, web page, or other kind of application, just by clicking a link in our remote access portal. With Device Discovery, you know all your assets, and with secure remote access, you ensure that only known devices and users have access to those assets. Neeve's cloud-based remote access offers powerful tools for managing users. When you add a user, you set their basic information and also whether you want them to authenticate with your SSO or our internal identity provider. Once you have added them, you can set their permissions. This is done through device groups. You can make a collection of devices, for example, all of your lighting equipment, and grant access to that set. You can also schedule access, putting constraints on when and for how long users have access to the system. With our granular controls on user authentication, device and port level permissions, and time-bound access, you can easily put in place a model of least privilege access. What I've shown you is just the beginning of a journey to digitally transform your infrastructure. Once Neeve's Secure Edge is installed, it can allow you to take control of the applications in your building. Instead of installing multiple servers in your building, you can leverage our Edge application runtime environment instead. The Secure Edge can run leading building applications like the Niagara Framework or cybersecurity monitoring like Iceberg to improve the operations of your buildings. These applications are cloud managed, making deployment 75% faster than a typical deployment and making ongoing management and updates easier. To deploy, visit the application marketplace, pick an application, select the building where you want to deploy, and input some basic settings. Once the application is deployed at the edge, you can visit the node page to verify it is running and control any settings or updates. Thanks for listening, and if you would like to learn more about Neeve's Secure Edge, visit neeve.ai or reach out to sales@neeve.ai to schedule a demo.